How's it going, everyone? I hope everybody's all doing well. This video is going to be about my post-fight thoughts on the heavyweight fight that took place on the weekend between Alen Babic and Niall Kennedy. The fight played out exactly how most people expected, exactly how I expected. Alen Babic was victorious by third round stoppage. I thought Babic would get him out of there early. I thought he might possibly get him out in the first or the second. He did put Kennedy down 2 times prior to the ref stopping the fight. Kennedy proved he was a tough guy that came to fight, but very limited. Both fighters were very limited in terms of their boxing ability and skills and fundamentals. Babic, like I say, he was victorious via third round stoppage. However, I was not impressed with his performance at all. He looked very slow. He was throwing very wide, crude shots. He was very easy to hit. This is the same for Niall Kennedy, but Alen Babic is the prospect that's looking to go on to do greater things in the sport. So I'm going to be criticizing him most of the video, or I'm going to be harder on him than I am on Niall Kennedy, because Kennedy, to me, has no real potential at all to do anything else in the sport, and is pretty much a journeyman at this stage, whereas Babic is looking to go on and challenge some of the other heavyweight prospects like Filip Hrgović and so on. So yeah, Babic came out hyper aggressive from the first bell, like he seems to always do, but he looked very slow. He was throwing very wide hooks that look quite easy to avoid if you have any boxing skills and head movement and defense, which Niall Kennedy didn't really have. But when Alen Babic steps up in competition, I'm expecting him to come up short. I think his next fight is supposed to be against Tom Little, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Little even manages to pull off the upset in that fight, because I think Tom Little, although he's a journeyman with a lot of losses, he's been in there with a lot of top prospects and Olympians and guys that are going to go on to do things in the sport, such as Hrgović and Daniel Dubois. And both of those fighters, Hrgović and Dubois, it took them a few rounds before they were able to stop Tom Little. So he's very tough in game. He moves very well, which could give Alen Babic trouble. He has quite fast hands for a guy in his type of shape. He has a pretty fast jab. He doesn't really have any power, but he has decent defense, pretty decent boxing fundamentals, and he's a tough guy. He might be able to take Babic quite a few rounds and frustrate him with his boxing skills and his craftiness, being quite a veteran and a decent journeyman. So I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls off the upset, because Babic even looked like he was starting to fatigue in this fight, and if he starts to fatigue against Tom Little, I wouldn't be shocked if Tom Little stops him late or beats him on points. I know Tom Little's not a big puncher, but with Babic being so easy to hit and it being the heavyweight division, it's possible he could get stopped late. But Tom Little's best chance would probably be a points victory, which is possible. I think he's the faster of the two fighters. I think he's the better boxer of the two guys. However, Babic has some power and is hyper aggressive. That'll be an interesting fight to me. I think that's quite a close fight and a tough fight to pick, to be honest, in my opinion. But yeah, on this fight, I took Alen Babic to win by a stoppage. That bet cashed, and I also took a more aggressive approach on the fight by taking Alen Babic to win in under 2.5 rounds, and that bet cashed as well, although I did have some trouble with the betting company paying me out. They seemed to think under 2.5 rounds meant if the fight crosses over into the third round that it is no longer under 2.5 rounds, but that's not how it works with boxing and MMA. Under 2.5 rounds means you have the whole 2 rounds and half of the third round for the fight to be finished, and the fight was indeed finished before the halfway point of the third round, therefore being under 2.5 rounds. It took me some explaining and teaching them how it works before they eventually admitted they were wrong and paid me out on that bet. So it was a fun fight to watch, and we made a little bit of money on it, so I'm pretty happy with that, and looking forward to seeing Alen Babic fight Tom Little next. Babic seems to be quite a popular fighter, He's building a little cult following in the sport. I've noticed that on these videos I've been doing. They seem to do quite well. And I've seen on quite a few of the interviews he does, they seem to do decent numbers as well. I think it's due to his fighting style and his personality. Tom Little's quite a personality as well. I think that'll be a good build-up to a fight, and I think it'll actually be a very competitive matchup as well. So that is the fight that I think is happening next. I think that's a decent fight. I think it's a tough fight for Babic, and I think it's a good learning fight for Babic if he's able to get past Tom Little as well. Let me know what you guys thought on the fight. Let me know how you guys bet the fight. Let me know who you want to see Babic fight next. How far do you think he's going to go in the heavyweight division? Thanks for listening to this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below. Please hit the like and subscribe button as well. Talk to you guys soon.